Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present Girls vs. Ghost Media's Spooky Talk with Madison Smith from Madison Paranormal. You can find Spooky Talk every other Sunday, 6 Eastern, 5 Central, right here, live on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Be sure to join in the live interactive chat by going to Spreaker.com or downloading the Spreaker app for all devices.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host, Madison Smith.
Hi everyone, I'm Madison Smith. I'd like to welcome you all to Spooky Talk with Maddie. Tonight's guest, I met her a couple years ago at Silicon in Matton, Illinois. She was super nice lady, and we got to go swimming before the show. She is a big dog lover and a medium, author, and a healer. She has been in horror film and comic book hero. So, introducing KO. Yeah.
Hey, how are you doing, Maddie?
Not bad. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. I think I would just pronounce my name so people can hear it.
Gotcha.
It's Kadrolsha Ona, and I prefer just KO is cool. So you're doing great.
A. Yeah, I don't think I can pronounce your name. I can barely pronounce my own without messing up. It's great.
You're so sweet.
Thank you. I really try to be. Okay. So how about we get started? Okay. So let's start from the beginning. How old were you when you first had your paranormal experience, or what got you into it, really?
Well, I must admit, I was born into it. I have 7 generations, if not more, between Polo, Russian, and Abenaki out in Newport, Vermont, that were into the paranormal with dream interpreters and spirit communicators. This is something that's very well documented. And I grew up in a bilingual household, part Russian, Polish kind of thing. And then we moved all over the United States. I was an Army brat. But I could literally, from that time, very, very young, with my babcia is, that's Polish for grandmother. Mm-hmm. A stara babka was my babcia Rogala, and she was my great-grandmother. I remember her very well. And we would always talk about dreams, or neighbors would come and they'd read the tea leaves. My great-grandmother would do the tea leaves. And it just went on like that. And so I had the ability at a very young age to be able to continue with the dream interpreting and also spirit communicating, and just inquisitive in general as to why, and doing mild investigations when I was younger with my siblings, and it was just something very, very natural, which I guess people would consider supernatural at this point, being that young.
All right. And then, just to clarify for everyone, including myself, what is a dream interpreter?
A dream interpreter is a person that listens to you, what you had for a dream and tells you what it means. Now, they have books on dream interpretations, and they're more like cookie cutter dreams. Like they'll tell you, oh, the color white means this, or the color orange means this, or this situation means that. I say to those books, just throw them in the trash can. Everybody is an individual, and each individual person has an individual meaning for a color, a shape, or a situation. So you have to take the person and treat them independently from any kind of structured, book that just gives you like cookie cutter information. And so that's what my great grandmother would do. My grandmother would do. And that is what I do. And I actually do them at conventions, or people can write to me, and I do that. And I think it's very important. People are individuals, and they get an individual type of dream interpretation like that from me.
Okay. And then how do tea leaves interpret into that? Or is that a separate thing?
Oh, my goodness gracious. My great-grandmother, excuse me. It's winter here in New England, sweetheart, and I'll tell you, the asthma just goes crazy. But as far as tea leaves, my great-grandmother, my Babtarogala, she would have the Stara Babka, the older grandmother, she would have all these different types of plants. And she would take those plants. Now, she would not drink the tea. I'm not saying this to people, go take this, take that, and steep it down, sip it. Christ, it'd probably poison you or something, because she used to do it to poinsettias and whatnot. But what it is the bottom, after you dump out the water, like you dump out the steamed, the water, you pour out slowly, and what is left in the bottom, and the sequence and the patterns that is left in the bottom is what you're looking at. Not only that, as my great-grandmother taught me and my grandmother, to hold the hand of the person that you're reading for. Take a good look at their eyes, look at them, watch them breathe, and feel the energy from their hands when you read. And that's a little bit different than from other people, but to each their own. They all have their own special method when it comes to reading tea leaves.
Okay. And then, do you know if different herbs do different things, or is it only tea leaves that you can do that?
Oh, you can do a variety of whole different, instead of getting like so fancy with names and stuff, I actually like to use white sage, and I take those leaves and crumple them myself, and I like to look at those leaves. Because for me and all of the generations that go thousands of years with Native Americans, and how that they would smudge and use white sage to clear the air, to make it comfy so the spirits will calm down. I think it's an excellent way to be able to read tea leaves, because everything's calm and cool and positive, so you can get a more natural reading that way. Other people, they use just regular tea leaves if that's what they use, but there are a multitude of different things you can use. I've even heard of people using black salt. I know it sounds really weird, but black salt isn't regular salt. In fact, sometimes black salt doesn't have salt in it at all. It has metal scrapings and coal and a whole bunch of other things in it. But I've actually heard of people reading the pattern of those. And I've never done that, but I swear by my white sage. I do.
Okay. And talking about Native Americans, have you ever contacted one doing a reading?
Well, what I've done, and I'm a firm believer that if you're going to contact someone, whether it's a Native American or a person, oh my God, let's say you're in a cemetery in the 1600s. Well, you're in the 1600s, you're contacting somebody. You know that with an EVP, it will not come out with 2020 like hip slang. What it will come out like in the 1600s is someone possibly with an English accent or an Irish brogue. And so those EVPs should sound like that. Another thing that I'm a proponent of is to speak in the language and the generation of the EVP. Like, for example, I did a program where I was asking Native Americans from the particular area in Rhode Island, I was asking them questions via EVP, and I spoke in Abenaki, and I received messages in the language. So that was important. Also, I did an EVP session at the Monadnock Inn, and they had a gentleman up in Jaffrey, New Hampshire, very close to the Monadnock Inn, and he was killed in 1918. Now, this gentleman, the murder has never been solved. They said it was of German spies that killed him. So what I did was I researched the German language, but not German of today. It was German of the time frame and how that verbiage would sound on an EVP trying to connect with someone that was of that generation. Will they answer me? I just want a quick answer. So I worked with a linguist who taught me a couple of things to say to see if I could get a response. And bingo, I got them. It was amazing. And those are on the Monadnock Inn on a program I did called Cece the Huntress, where I went by Cece in that program because Kadrolsha Ona was ridiculously long to pronounce. So that's why we chose the short name of that. So that's what I feel about EVPs, if I answered your question correctly.
Very nice. Okay, so what's your favorite place or experience that you've had over your whole career, really?
My favorite place was that swimming pool you and I went swimming in. That was a lot of fun, sweetheart. I had a ball. I couldn't get over it. You're so easy to get along with, and you're fun. And it's really hard to find people that will let their hair down and actually experience a good time, And yeah, we had a great time, you and I, and cherish those moments. I truly will. That was fun. And what that did for me was it supercharged the energy. So when people came to the convention at SilCon in Mattoon, Illinois, I would be able to do their readings as I had so much energy infused into me, and I could feel them, and they all went away very, very happy. And I thank that to you for being able to let your hair down and let's have some fun together.
Hey.
And we'll do it again when we meet. I'm sure we'll do something corny. I'm sure.
Honestly, bet. I would do like 20 laps around the building, just no reason, Like,
hey, listen, yeah. I run every morning too, so I love the energy feeling. I like the boost of energy. It gets you through the day, and it puts you in a positive frame of mind. You see so many people, whether it's paranormal or not, hinging on the negative aspects of their lives or lives they thought they could attain but can't, and now they're mad at somebody else for being able to do it. Just stay in the positive. No one likes a bitch, and that's the truth. They just don't like that. So don't be that person. Just be positive. That's all.
Then you might not want to see me in softball.
Oh, so we have a little temper, do we?
We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Not right now. But yeah, pretty fun. But paranormal-wise, what is your favorite place?
Paranormal-wise, my absolute favorite place and most intriguing place, I'd have to say, was Kings Park. I used to say another place, Tortilla Flats, a restaurant I used to go to. But I'm going to have to say, since I've been to Kings Park in Kings Park, New York, it was the Kings Park Asylum for the Mentally Insane. And no one's been allowed in there to do any kind of paranormal program at all. I got permission to go in. And I went in with the Huffington Post, a reporter from the Huffington Post, and two guys that are on the red carpet in Hollywood, Ron Russell and Jimmy Starr. And they have a wonderful show that they have. They interview celebrities. And so we all went together with this rock star an honest to God rock star now, and he's very popular. So we went and did this thing, and the rock star ended up having to leave because he became very emotional. I had to get out of there. That's okay. I ended up throwing up so bad. I was just car sick, I think. But we ended up in a section of of Kings Park where we actually followed a tunnel under the ground. And we entered some rooms that were never entered before. And you can tell they weren't entered because there was dust on the floor and yet no footprints, nothing. It was like dead silent in there. And you went in and it was amazing. Way back in the day when they had these asylums, they were pretty much functional on their own. They would have cattle, they would grow vegetables, they would make the clothes. It was like an all-inclusive type thing. The only thing they did not have was medication. They did not have Thorazine. They did not do lobotomies at that time. What they did, because the gravity and the pull of the full moon would change their chemistry in their brains ever so slightly, they would act out. They would act out and in horrible ways. So what they did to restrain them was they chained them to the wall or their arms to the ceiling. And we saw those things, that the shackles there were still in place on the walls and the ceilings. And we did we filmed the whole thing. And so when we got back home, Jimmy Starr put this thing together and he put it up, and within 2 days it went viral. We were like, oh my God. So from there, we did a comic book called Celebrity Ghost Hunters. Now we're doing a movie called Celebrity Ghost Hunters. And we're doing another episode of Celebrity Ghost Hunters in New York, Central Park, in May of this year. So I would have to say Kings Park has left me thinking a lot about history and also about what the inhumane ways that they treated people and what that inhumane energy felt like is something like you've never felt in your life before. Never.
Okay. And before I do forget, would you like to shout out any of your social medias where people can find you at or anything?
Sure. The best way to do it is go to queenoftheparanormal.com. And from there, you can hit all the little, you can go to Twitter, you can go to Instagram. You can't go to TikTok because there's some girl that took my name and my attorney is now getting a hold of her saying, you can't use that. That girl's trademarked. So she'll be taking that down soon. So everything else is up there, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. So you can click on the little links and be brought right to the different social media sites. That's queenoftheparanormal.com.
Very nice. Okay. And then there is some questions in the comments.
Sure.
So, first off, Shay wants to know if we ever investigated together. I don't think we have.
No, I don't think so. But we did go swimming and had one hell of a great time together. It was like,
yeah, that was fun.
It was like, I don't know. It was like you're younger, but you turned 18, and I'm older, and I turned 18, and then we went to the dollar store, and then we just had a great time together, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was
as far as investigating, no, but I think that would be riveting. I really do. That would be fun.
Yeah, I remember going to the dollar store looking for like little coffins, and they didn't have any, so we were like, darn it.
Oh, darn. What are we going to buy now,
Like, wasn't it because we found a butterfly or something?
We found a dead monarch butterfly. Remember that? We wanted to bury it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, well, what did we do? Did we let it out of the car, like going down the road or something? I think that's what we eventually did with it.
Maybe.
Kept it where it was, because why bring it home on a plane? That made no sense. And who knows if they went through my luggage and saw that. I mean, I don't want to get caught with a dead butterfly in my bag. So I think it was best that, I do believe I let it out the window because I don't have it, and we didn't have a coffin for it. So
yeah,
that's what we did.
To be honest, I'm kind of sad that we didn't get to bury it. Like, have like a little burial and everything. Get like fake flowers.
Yeah, I think we're
like,
short on time. We had to go to the Comic-Con.
Yeah. The thing is, if we did find a coffin, I could probably take it home since we drove there.
Well, there's always next year. But I know she's not having it this year. Maybe next year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's buried in my front yard.
Yes, people writing to me that they love the podcast so far. They're putting it in messages.
Hey. Hello. Yeah. Welcome. Okay, another question from Shay.
Sure.
What steps does she... I'm going to say... okay, I'm just going to read this word for word instead of trying to correct this. Sorry, I'm kind of slow mentally and physically.
Oh, join the club, honey. It doesn't get any better with age.
I can't even remember my name half the time. It's sad. Okay. What steps does she think we need to take to further the field and make paranormal unity stronger?
Well, I think one step to take is to stop making fun of people. Stop being so negative. We have a lot of information to share with each other. This isn't a competition. This is a gathering of facts and information that we could all benefit from. I mean, I've been to Paranormal Unity cons, and I've had a blast. It goes back 10, 15 years ago. But as of late, I find the negativity online just horrible. This one doesn't like that one. This one's having a problem with that one. It's like, what are we, back in high school? I thought we were grown up and that our parents didn't teach us to do that. I mean, why would grown individuals act like buffoons over the paranormal? We're all trying to do the same thing. And we're all trying to share our knowledge. At least that's what I thought we were to do. Mm-hmm. So if they could pipe down about the negativity and really start sharing some information and having some positive grown-up conversation, then it'd be great. And I also find that a lot of people, I'm going to say I am not guilty of it. And I'm not saying that to be snobby or anything, but I'm not. When someone sends me an article about someone or whatever, I actually read it. I don't look at the headline. I read the article because headlines can be, I'm not going to say misinformation. They want you to read the article. That's why they put a sensationalized headline. But if you actually read the article, you may learn something. And I find that when someone does something like that and everybody's whacking at them, and I sit back and laugh and going, they didn't even read the article. Had they read the article, they would have seen that this person really did this, that, and the other thing. And then I wonder, is that how they do their paranormal research? By rumor or speculation? Or do they actually do the research instead of going by someone else's say-so? That's important, too. I do find that out, and that gets a lot of people in a lot of trouble. If you put non-truthful things down, they're going to find out. But most of the time, I think if adults would just act like adults, and the way they teach their children, like your mom and dad teach you not to make fun of people and do your homework and do the research and actually read, you're a better person when you grow up. So I think drop the negativity, actually do your research and read articles, and don't embarrass yourself with rumor and speculation.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of drama. That's what I'm going to keep it as. There's just, like, a lot of drama.
Well, there is. And, I have the girlfriend, she summed it up, that people get upset with other people in the paranormal because they've obtained something that the person that's mad cannot attain or do. And I think that I used to sing in bands. I've been in a lot of different things with entertainment or business news or whatnot with my background, or political news too. And I often find that you have to be kind, you have to be good, and you have to just be positive. That's the way to get your message across, is being positive. And reading your literature and doing your research properly. That's what will push you to the top of whatever. It's not like you set it, although I do know some Facebook people from the paranormal that want to be famous for I don't know what. The only thing that's going to get you famous is to do your work the right way, do your research thoroughly, and be a nice person. Your work alone will push you to the top if that's what you want to do. What I like to do is I like to just share my knowledge, and people like to listen to me, and the media likes to do articles on me and stuff like that. And I'm saying, hey, that's fine. Send me the money. That'd be good too.
Oh my. But yeah, I don't even know what to say. I had something good to say. I can't remember. No, I can't remember it. My memory's so bad.
Well, that's why you have to rely on knowledge and your research when you're doing, paranormal investigation. Even if someone else has already investigated, let's say, a location, please do your own research. Don't go on their research. Perfect example. I did thoroughly research this restaurant in New Hampshire, and I went to the owners. I was doing an event on the restaurant, and I went to the owners of the restaurant and I said, the facts don't match up to the haunting. These are the facts. They were like, oh my God, don't tell the public that, because we're selling food because there's a ghost here. I said, no, you have ghosts here. There's no doubt about that. You can feel them. You can see them out of the corner of your eye, but they're not who you think it is. Because, of course, according to the registry and the town census and birth records, those people never existed. So what I did very cleverly and smartly was just say the truth, that the area that we're looking at was an area where old sea captains would go and retire, which was the truth. So if you wanted to speculate on that, maybe in the surrounding areas, maybe somebody visited there. And so we focused on the ghosts that were already in the building and got off the trail on why the place was not haunted by who they said it was. Now, that's what I did. About a year later, a paranormal investigator went in there, and he's up on Facebook, saying all this stuff, how they saw the dead baby in the well, and they this and they that. And I'm thinking, that's just not true. None of that's true. They didn't do their research. They went off of research that they found on Google. And Google's fine. How do you know it's the right research? You really have to go to archives when it comes to newspapers or the Historical Society, libraries, birth records, you name it. Do your research, because this person looked like an idiot, total idiot when I called him out. And I was very kind. And I just said, you didn't do your research. I didn't call him out in public. I wrote him. I said, you didn't do your research. Well, the owner said this and this. I said, no, that owner didn't say that. I worked with him a year ago. He would never tell you that. So it's very important to do your research, even though another team has already been in there. Because what they have missed, again, because maybe they're not reading it through, you'll pick up. And then from there, you can put the pieces together and probably get some great evidence.
Mm-hmm. All right. Very nice answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So another question from Shay in the comments.
Sure.
All right. She says, does she use equipment? If so, what is her favorite device?
Oh, my God. I think I have every tool known to man, but I honestly feel that a lot of that stuff is over marketed just to detect energy. And I think your body is extremely a significant tool because 200 years before they had electricity, what did you use? You used your body, you used candles, you used like a powdery flower. These were different ways to communicate with the spirit. And a lot of my, you can see in a lot of my pictures, I have my hands out. They're like receptors. I'm looking for where the energy is, in the place. I do like middle of the road equipment. And I say that because they're apt not to pick up frequencies that if you get high-end equipment, they're hypersensitive. They're going to pick up your hearing aid, a pacemaker, a dishwasher, impulse wiring under the floor or in the wall. They're going to pick these things up and they're going to go off. That doesn't mean you have a ghost. It just means that they're picking up the electric, impulses from that. So middle of the road things won't do that because they're not hypersensitive. So that's why I like that. And as far as EVPs, hey, I love doing EVPs, whether it's on an analog, reel-to-reel little tape thing, or it's on your digital telephone, or it's on a little recorder phone. A little digital recorder. I love EVPs. So I use the recorders for EVPs, my hands to find where the spirits are first. Sometimes dowsing rods, we'll see. It depends. And just a whole bunch of different things. Because if one thing doesn't work, the next one may. So that's why we bring a whole bag of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then what are your opinions on more, like physical items, like Ouija boards, pendulums, dowsing rods? What are your thoughts on those?
Dowsing rods are a science. They have the dowsing science clubs. Dowsing is a science. It is not a pie-in-the-sky ghost hunting trick or parlor game. It's real science. And they've been using dowsing rods or divining rods for thousands of years to detect water, minerals, or gold. I haven't found any gold, but I'll continue to look. But you got to be smart when you're using dowsing rods, for one thing. I never use the dowsing rods that have the little sheath around them and they spin freely. I don't. I use dowsing rods that are solid, and you hold them and they don't move. And when they move, you feel them move. And they heat up and they kind of go up your arm. It's an awesome sensation. But you got to be smart. You can't be standing near a water main and a wall because, of course, they're going to move towards the water main or an electric spot. You can't do that either. Make sure you're not standing near a window because even if you hold them tight, maybe the wind will move them. So you have to be smart when you're using dowsing rods. I demonstrate a lot with dowsing rods and have brought big men right down to the floor because if I don't have my hands on them, I show them how to use it. They're using it. They're moving, and they're not making a move, and their arms are heating up, and they are overwhelmed. They might envision a relative that passed away or a pet. They may smell their grandmother's perfume. It's an extraordinary feeling when you're using dowsing rods. So that's a good thing. I like that. And I'm trying to remember what the rest of your question was. You think you got a bad memory, honey?
So what do you think of a Ouija boards and pendulums?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. We get back to those things. Okay. Ouija boards, like EVPs, are a way to communicate. Now, we just have to be sensible about this whole thing. And I've always been a proponent of Ouija boards can be really messed up. They can conjure up a whole bunch of stuff if they're made to do so with a solid piece of wood created for that purpose. But if they're made in a sweatshop by little kids, particle board and glue, sold by Parker Brothers or who else, Bradley's, who knows? I think they still do have an effect for communicating, but I don't think they're going to conjure up a demon. Because demons are extremely rare. And that's my take on it. Just like when you're communicating with a recorder, you're communicating. It doesn't mean you're whipping up a demon. But I'm not going to say that demons don't exist. They're just very, very rare.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what are your thoughts on demons?
My thoughts on demons. Well, I wouldn't want one in my house. That's for sure. I mean, I got enough, with my kids, my husband, I got a lot of demon problems here. Oh, my God. My thoughts on demons, because they're so far and few between, people, I think, for a lack of understanding the paranormal, they may have a physical situation that requires them to take, or a mental situation that might require them to take medication. They may be in a home that has black mold. They may be in a place that has a very high electric frequency, like power lines. Mm-hmm. And these things can, raise havoc and make you think of, craziness. And of course, it's a demon. And that's not true. Demons or anything like that, they need to be witnessed. And let's say you got a demon and the head's spinning around and all this stuff. If you call the 5 o'clock news to come to your house, that demon would still be having the head spinning around and show the whole world it's there. I don't think I've ever seen that happen. But I'm not going to say they're not true, because I was involved. I'm part of the Exorcist legacy. If you look at the 40th anniversary DVD of The Exorcist and you go to the director's cut, you'll clearly see my work there. And what my work was a switchback editing from these tapes from Father Gallagher. Father Gallagher was the professor of divinity at Georgetown University for William Peter Blatty. William Peter Blatty wrote the book, The Exorcist. Now, The Exorcist was based on several exorcisms that took place with a demon. Again, these experiences and witness files were held in a thing called the Bishop's Files, which I had access to from an original interview before right after The Exorcist came out. Now, I wasn't part of that interview with Father Gallagher and a friend of mine, Bob Boyd or Mike Siegel. That they're from a different generation. But I knew them later in life, and they told me about these Bishop's Files, so I had access to them and all of the footage, and I put together scenes where you would see the priest say, "You unclean spirits." And then I got the Bishop's Files with Father Gallagher going, "You unclean spirits." And he went down in a row on how these things were supposed to be performed. And lo and behold, you can clearly see the editing from the Bishop's Files to the Hollywood version. Some were real, some were not. Some followed the Bishop's Files, some did not. So that was a really cool thing when it came to demons and, all of that. They're very rare. These files consisted of 170 witnesses per exorcism with their written statements. So that's why I'm saying, if you got a demon in your house, call the news. It's still going to be there when they get there, and they can witness it to the world. That's how rare they are.
Very good explanation. I really like that.
Well, it's true.
Good job.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we do have 2 more questions in the comments.
Sure.
Okay, so one is from Eye of the Beholder. Her question is, what's the scariest paranormal experience?
What's the scariest paranormal experience I've ever had? Well, I'm going to tell you this. It's quite simple. Coming home off the road from doing conventions to a sink full of dishes, okay? Nothing cleaned in the house. The bed's not made, and no one washed the frickin' laundry. And I still have to take the dog out. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a paranormal experience no one wants. That's like a freaking horror show.
Really just called their family out.
Oh my God. Oh, and hey, listen, we all have families and things happen, but I don't know why they do that to me. I don't know. I'm a good cleaner, whatever. But my scariest paranormal experience. Oh my God, everyone was a trip and a half. I would have to say the Hoosac Tunnel. The Hoosac Tunnel is a 5-mile tunnel through solid granite from Orange, Massachusetts. From Florida, Massachusetts to North Adams, Massachusetts, where the west portal was in North Adams, the east portal was in Florida, and then it was straight through there. Halfway, they have this thing called the center shaft. And weird things were happening in the center shaft. We filmed. Again, another place no paranormal show was ever allowed to do, but we got permission from the retiring CEO of Pan Am Rail Services to go in and film a show. A lot of times they let me in places because I keep the integrity intact, the historical integrity intact, and do a pretty darn good program. So we were in there, my team, and we're in the center shaft. Now the center shaft no longer exists. There's nothing on top where they used to vent. That no longer exists. And all of a sudden the wind started blowing. And my hair's blowing. Everything's blowing. And it's like, we don't know why. And then it stopped as quick as it came. It was really bizarre. We did a blessing in there. And I did it with oil so it would stay longer. And many weird things happened there. You can see that show, the Hoosac Tunnel, on CC the Huntress, and you can watch it, and you'll see where I'm talking, and all of a sudden my voice turns into a man's voice saying something else. That was crazy. And then when we walked out of the 5-mile on the other side of the train tunnel, my phone had so many messages because, of course, we couldn't have that service in there. Mm-hmm. We were over 2 hours late coming out the other end, and we kept walking. It was a weird experience. They're saying, UFO abduction, and I'm thinking, like, I wasn't probed. I don't know what happened, but that was weird. And also, there were 2 trains that went by that we had to actually get into these little cubby holes so we wouldn't get hit. And that was so bizarre because when I wrote to them afterwards, the train schedule said no trains. They have no verification of any trains during that time period that went by. So that entire show was amazing. So I have to say that was scary. I think that was the scariest one of all. Just so many unexplained, unanswered things that, people just, they were all writing in and chiming in about what it could be. And I'm like, there's still no definitive answers on what it could have been.
Mm-hmm. Why is there trains?
I have no idea why there were trains. The reason we did that time slot was because there were no trains. That's why we did it. And then there were 2 trains. You can clearly see one of the trains going through. The other train we didn't film because we're in the cubby hiding. Mm-hmm. And they went by pretty darn fast. And I'm thinking, that's weird. But this could be a ghost train. Who knows? But I wasn't going to put up my hand and touch it. That's for sure.
Thomas the Train Engine coming back.
I don't know. It was just black, jet black in there, like a cavernous hole. You couldn't see not even inches in front of you. It was so black. Mm. It was like walking blind. It was something else.
Well, at least you can say that you saw Thomas the Train Engine on his debut as a ghost.
There you go. That's a good explanation. Just as good as all the others.
It's a ghost train. Thomas the Train Engines.
The elusive ghost train. Wow.
No, it's the Polar Express,
the trains were old, but they were cargo trains. They had, they must have been filled with different things. But as far as, their record, and you have to register, you're going by whatever the train companies do, but there was no listing of any train of any sort, of any kind, going through the tunnel. And that was that.
I am now naming this train the Polar Express. Cannot convince me otherwise.
Oh, okay, honey. Okay. See, I'm easy.
Alrighty. Okay, and then the next question is from Mama Deb. Let's see. Does she prefer researching locations first or going in blind?
Well, I'm I guess you call it an amateur historian of sorts, because of the books I write and the lectures I give. I like to research the historical aspect of the property that I'm going into, not the paranormal aspect of the property. Again, going back to doing your own research and getting your own information on the spot. So I would research the historical aspect, not the ghost hunting aspect. I don't care how many teams have been in there. I don't look at their stuff. I only look at my own, and I will go in blank and then start to cull my information and do everything that I feel should be done for paranormal, investigation, then come out with some answers.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Okay, so there's no other questions in the comments, so ta-da. Let's see. So, are you into urban legends or anything like that? Or you just kind of stray away from those?
Well, like the Jersey Devil and stuff like that. That's an urban legend. I have to say, anything folklore, urban legend, supernatural, that stuff's been around for a long, long time. Some of it's been debunked, and that's cool. But some of it hasn't, and that's what makes it so intriguing. Like, okay, they can't debunk it. Why? Does that mean it's real? That's when I like to go after it, and let's check what's going on. I think that's important. I love that show, Supernatural. I've been on a couple of episodes, and just love it. I just love that show. I did extra work for them. But I like, some things are just not explainable. And so going back to the urban legends, folklore, and supernatural, if they haven't debunked it, maybe there's something to it.
Okay. And then what's your favorite urban legend?
My favorite urban legend. Let me see. Sorry.
You're good.
I would have, you know what, it's a toss-up between the Jersey Devil and the Mothman. The Mothman has already been debunked, although a lot of people don't think it's been debunked, but it has been debunked. And I just thought that was, fascinating because of, the circumstances that, who the hell's going to have wings like that and fly around? I mean, seriously, I thought the whole thing was ridiculous when I first saw it. And then they also have these things called, I'm trying to remember, and you think you have a bad memory. They look like rods. I think they're called rods. And you can see them in footage. They're like little things that go zipping by so fast that you don't know what it is. Well, come to find out, they've debunked that as well with technology and science, thank God. And what it is it is a bug that just flies super fast, and they can't quite get it, on like a regular, video camera or something like that. When technology took over and slowed everything down to a place where they could actually see it, they found out it was bug. So I thought that was cute, because you got so many people saying this, that, and the other thing on an urban legend, which is debunked. And they swear to God it's real. And I'm thinking, I don't know what universe or what pill you took, but no, it's not real. That's why it's important to have a balance with science. I really think it's important because it debunks a lot of the baloney.
Like, some of my favorites are the Wendigo and the Goatman Bridge. that kind of thing. But pretty fun.
Well, now that hasn't been debunked, right?
I don't think Goatman has.
Well, then
I don't think the Wendigo has either.
Then we have to go check this stuff out. Now, see, that's what intrigues me. Yeah. If we could do that when COVID's over with. Or they'll be investigating us. One or the other.
No, we just ought to, get together and be like, you know what? We're going to go Wendigo hunting.
I think this is important. I think we should do it. And like I said, that's what intrigues me a lot about the paranormal. I believe 98% of the paranormal and psychics can go to hell in a handbag. I think it's the 2% that we look for. And the reason being is because there is no explanation. There's no scientific explanation, nothing connecting it. And my whole comment about psychics is I've done a lot of research when it comes to mediums and psychics. And yes, some of them are really good. Oh my God, I am in awe of them. Those are the ones you want. But then there are some where they give you the same reading to everyone they see. Now, I know this for a fact because I go to different psychic fairs with my friends. And we go to one psychic, all of us, throughout the day or whatever. And then we all meet later and we find out that, yep, we get the same reading. And it doesn't happen once. It happens a lot. And so, I'm not saying that all psychics are like that, but I'm going to say there's a vast majority that like to, do that and play on your heartstrings, and they'll watch your movements to see when they can add something to what they said. Do you give them a positive response with the way you're expressing yourself or your eyes so they can add to this thing? It's like being a detective, which I was for police department, Unit 1, the gang task force. I can read people. I'm also a psychic too, so I can really read you. But we have a way of reading people. So I think that detectives make better psychics than most of the psychics out there. That makes sense?
Yeah. Sounds pretty cool, honestly. Might want to be a detective.
Well, again, it takes research and hard work, a good line of questioning and a good line of repeat questioning, and then again asking the question. Eventually, they're going to slip up, and you'll find the answer. It's like give them a rope long enough, they'll hang themselves. That's what that is.
Sounds pretty dang cool, not going to lie.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you do your research like that too, if you thoroughly research on your own, not by going by somebody else's, oh my God, the witch is in this room. You're like, okay, maybe it was for you, but for me, it's in the attic now. Go by your own knowledge. Go by your own research and actually read it. Read the research. It's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when people say false information, I'm like, okay. You keep that opinion. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I don't care how old you are. You can be of any age, but a lot of this stuff, people like to embellish and over-exaggerate, which is embellishment, to the point that they say it over and over again that other people start believing it. And that's sad because, again, go back to your own thing. Read the articles, read your research, do it yourself, and you will clearly see that some people are just plain wrong. That's all.
All right. So, what do you do in your free time besides paranormal investigation?
Clean the house. Remember I told you about that? No, hey, what free time? Woo! I'm trying to make a living here. Yeah, it's tough sometimes. I do have free time, and what I like to do in my free time is I like to read. I like to read articles, political articles. I'll read about cryptocurrency. I do press releases on that and Bitcoin and like a whole bunch of different types of things. Always good to stimulate your mind and keep your mind active. And reading is a great way of doing that. Whether it's online, just make sure you're reading factual information. I like to talk to my friends, and I like to gossip, but not about people. It's just about, different things as far as the proper, I know it sounds stupid, it's like the proper way of setting up a press release or whatever. We find out, I belong to this team where we just switch things up and do things different, and we're always gossiping to each other that didn't work. Okay, let's just try it this way. And I'd just like to continue to stimulate my mind and educate myself. That's what I like to do in my spare time, if I have any.
I also enjoy reading, so you're not alone.
Yeah. Well, you're a smart girl. I think that's why we get along so well, because you're very intelligent and you like to have a good time.
You think I'm smart. Oh, that's funny. That's a funny joke.
Yeah. But we did. We had a great time. Becky ran a wonderful Comic-Con there, and I was well taken care of. And you just were it was just super. It was just so super, a friendship with you that'll last forever. And we're going to continue on having good experiences together and seeing each other in the future.
Mm-hmm. I hope that we do see each other in the future and get to investigate. That'd be the crackhead energy we would make. Would just be amazing.
Bring some ibuprofen for that headache. I feel it coming on.
It's the same.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I really did like the hotel we stayed at. I can't remember the name.
Same.
But that was wonderful. The host and hostess were very, friendly. The food was great at the restaurant. And I can't speak more highly of the event itself. Had a lot of fun. I was able to raise some money for the animals in the area, the Genesis Fund. They brought their dog there, and I raised money for them and dog food and products for them, and also for the Mattoon, Illinois food pantry. I was able to donate there as well. So I always try to give back to the communities that I'm in, because they have given to us by having people from the community buy our products or services. It's nice to give back. And that's what I do.
Round of applause, everyone. Yay. All right. Well, I was trying to see the Shadow Man running the corner telling me that our time is almost over. I'd really like to thank KO for taking time out of her busy schedule to come on chatting with myself and my listeners here on Spoopy Talk.
Well, thank you very much. queenoftheparanormal.com.
Yes. Go check it out, everyone, if you have not already. All right, so now for all my listeners out there, I'd really like to say thank you for being with me tonight. My next show will be February 21st with Bob Christopher and Gina Begston with Vortex Ghost Gear. Sorry, tongue twister, I know. So make sure if you're not following me, give me a follow at Madison Paranormal Investigation on Facebook and Maddie_Paranormal_Investigation on Instagram. So for tonight, peace, love, and happiness, and most of all, stay spoopy, everyone.